All right, let's see what Buzz Lightyear has to say about Starfield.
Welcome back to the channel. It's Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, and I wanted to circle back around to some previously covered Starfield topics because
Okay.
we now have new updates, as well as touch
I
on
like new
items like
updates.
pre-order cancellations, ROG Ally, concerns over Starfield's economy, and a few items I would love to see prior to Starfield's launch. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. I've included timestamps for ease of viewing, and let's get started.
Got a pretty clean intro, but it takes a while.
Up to this point, it could be argued that Starfield has not put a foot wrong, and so when reports started rolling in that customers' Constellation
hopium?
Edition pre-orders were being canceled, it immediately made headlines. Multiple complaints were made and screenshots posted by customers that had previously placed and paid for a pre-order for the Constellation Edition with Walmart, only to receive a mysterious email, text, and phone call from the retailer explaining that their pre-orders were canceled on accident. Other reports from
$100?
customers with the email show a total and then competitive price match refund, effectively reducing that price down to zero, receiving an explanation that the product was out of stock so that the store canceled and refunded the order for them. Still
Interesting.
others, upon receiving the email, called customer service and were told that the order was not canceled, their order was still valid, and the purchase price would only be charged once the product was received. No public statement has yet been made by Walmart, but these reports are both confusing and gut-wrenching to read. Hopefully the retailer can work something out, possibly.
I wonder if that's just connected to like delays, whereas like people pre-ordered it, so Walmart thought it would have shipped by now, but then it didn't, so their systems just kind of like screwed up because of delays in the making process. That's a weird. That sounds more like a Walmart issue than like a Starfield issue, though.
Possibly with Bethesda to get in enough surplus stock to fulfill these orders and deliver the correct Constellation editions to those that purchase them. Next up, I wanted to follow up on that AMD PC requirements announcement I reported on in a previous Starfield upload. And since then, we've received some more public pushback against that announcement, citing their overall vagueness, lofty asks of gamers' rigs, contradictions to the previously posted Steam page specs, and in general, reading more like an AMD sales pitch versus that of a factual statistical readout. In the most recent DF Direct weekly podcast, the crew at Digital...
Let's see. Recommended minimum Ryzen 5 2600X isn't super huge. 16 gigs, pretty standard. An RX 5700. The recommended is a RX 6800 XT, though. It's kind of a beefy card. Wait, the RX 6800 XT is better than a 2080, isn't it? The Ryzen 5 3600X is, yeah. It seems like a disparity between the AMD requirement versus the NVIDIA requirement. I could be wrong, though, and someone's probably going to correct me in the comments. But I feel like a 6800 XT is a slightly better card than an NVIDIA 2080. Could be wrong,
Foundry really break down many of the issues with AMD's posted specs, calling them bad marketing and downright wrong. Now, I'll leave a link to this podcast in the video description, but if I could give anyone a bit of calming advice, it would be this. Check out Steam for the original PC recommendations and don't immediately become overly concerned that your current PC setups will not handle Starfield, especially after that misleading AMD announcement. Shifting gears, and in a recent upload, I touched on Steam Deck and if it would be able to handle a game as demanding as Starfield. Now, according to a comparison by Steam Deck HQ, using games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Forspoken for their like specs,
I guess.
And seeing the spotty performance of those two games, the conclusion was that Starfield would not perform well on Steam Deck.
Yep.
But now, based on a recent Windows Central article, we have possible good news and information on Steam's biggest handheld competitor, the Asus ROG Ally.
I've heard good things about the ROG Ally. Like, I'm not huge on like handhelds, but if you want a handheld, I think that from what I've read, the ROG Ally is probably going to be a better like bang for buck type handheld than the Steam Deck.
The article goes on to echo concerns over Steam Deck and Starfield, but is much more optimistic over the ROG Ally, thanks to its AMD Z1 Zen 4 processor and the RDNA 3 graphics hardware. These upgrades made it better suited to playing demanding titles like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and based on the minimum and recommended PC spec requirements being similar to that of Starfield, this hinted towards a consistent 40 to 45 FPS with lowered settings on Ally. General feelings towards Steam Deck certification are, this is something that's probably not going to happen, at least not close to launch, especially after Todd Howard's response of, Bethesda will think about Starfield on Steam Deck down the road. But there is also the option to use the xCloud streaming service if Steam Deck is not up to the task.
Is it a priority though? Like that's kind of the thing, like you're coming out on console, you're coming out on PC, is having the handheld systems compatibility really a priority right now this close to launch? Like you may want to optimize it so that it's more of an option later, but like right now I could see the company not being focused on it even a little bit.
Anyways, what are your thoughts on these two handhelds and Starfield? Let me know in the comment section below. And now onto the great Starfield patty melt debate. And on a more serious note, will Starfield have a broken economy? Now, according to a Reddit post, the post expresses concerns over the in-game economy as 64 patty melts will get you a spaceship, and they've used a screenshot taken from the Starfield Direct showing those delicious patty melts with a value of 295 credits each versus a ship created from multiple ships and spliced together in Photoshop dubbed the Ass Fleet Ranger, coming in at 19,054 credits. Or, based on this scenario, why not 544.4 pieces of toast? Or, how about a mag shear for ship trade plus 9,100 plus credits back in your pocket? Now, some comments have pointed to the fact that the ship was fan-created and not seen anywhere in previous Starfield footage, but here's one I found in the Starfield Direct, coming in even cheaper at just 13,460 credits, or only 384.6 pieces of toast. I jest, but for me personally, I'm not concerned. We've seen some interesting economy and XP outliers in previous BGS games. I specifically remember punching out iron ore and leather in Skyrim, speedsmithing iron daggers and leather bracers, and power leveling my smithing up to level 90 in just a few hours, just so I could make Daedric armor. It's a single-player experience, so the economy will function as the devs intended it to. There may be
That is the one thing that, like, in a single-player experience, you're not going to have someone destroying your economy in the game, or it's not going to work outside of that. So, if people are worried about the economy is designed in a way that the developers wanted in order to create the progression that is in line with their game idea. You're not going to have other players come in and like crash or boom the economy for the entire like star system on a single player game, which
outliers and other objects that fans feel should be worth more or less, but ultimately it has nothing to do with power leveling for PvP or co-op endgame, and so I don't see it as an issue.
There is no.
But I am concerned with the ingredients in that orange juice of transcendence. I mean,
oh yeah,
what's up with that? And now on to two items I would love to see as we approach the early access release for Starfield, which, if my calculations are correct, is at T-minus 38 days and counting. And the first of these is an official, Bethesda-backed offline ship creator with the ability to import into your game files for later use. Now, no doubt the Starfield community is starting to go hog wild with these ship designs, and having every available ship piece from the game files with full stats,
I mean, that's
weight,
cool.
capabilities, and more would be absolutely incredible. Once the optimal ship design has been achieved, being able to save those configurations and import them directly into your game is the next step, allowing players to actively search for pieces they have been wanting and compare what they have salvaged versus their dream ship blueprints. Next.
So, like, he said that's an app, right? We need a Bethesda shipbuilder. Does it not exist? Or does, like, if that exists, that's awesome. But could you imagine, like, I'm sitting around and, like, I'm at work or I'm at lunch, whatever. I can't play the game, but I can get on an app and just kind of, like, tinker around and design something. That would be really cool. That would be awesome to be able to, like, have an app where I can tinker with, like, a ship or a base, and it lays out, like, what scrap I need, and I can, like, import it to build it in the game later. Like, that would be a really awesome feature that gives you an engagement and connection to the game when you can't be at home gaming. When you're out doing life or you have a little bit of spare time, that'd be really cool.
We've received multiple trailers, interviews, and that exquisite 45-minute Starfield Direct, but for many potential players, they want to see even more. And this brings me to the second item I would love to see, and that's some actual raw gameplay footage. Now, up to this point, every piece of gameplay has been beautiful, but scripted. And to see something unedited, like a developer live streaming the game, controller in hand, headset on, maybe a camera on them while they played, would be ideal. I'd personally like to see some planet exploration, really cool, start to finish, especially circling a new planet for observation, finding a point to set down our ships, disembarking, and roaming around a point of interest. Live combat and looting would also be really cool to see, and all of this could go a long ways towards answering questions of how it plays live, and if it shows well enough, could calm a lot of pre-launch concerns. But based on what I am seeing from Microsoft and Bethesda, they seem to feel that they're in a good spot leading up to launch. They had that extremely well-received Starfield Direct presentation. Bethesda has already confirmed they will be at Gamescom in late August, and overall, I'm not seeing any panic on their side, in direct contrast to what we got when Fallout 76 was nearing launch. And if I remember correctly, there were plenty of preview events, tests, feedback sessions, and looking back on it now, that panic was warranted. But with Starfield, we're seeing the exact opposite. Quiet, calm, and confident. And let's finish up today's Starfield upload with this beautiful piece of fan art from Reddit user It's All
That's cool looking ship.
And this incredible Starfield ship design has taken the better part of 3 months to construct. Labeled as NASA Punk, Pixel's designs are incredibly detailed.
That's a cool ship.
And have already caught the attention of Bethesda. I've got to say, this is an insane-looking ship, and goes back to my desire to have a ship creator suite made available by Bethesda to allow players to create their own one-off masterpieces. Let me know what your ideal ship design will look like once Starfield launches. Sound off in the comment section below. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are always appreciated. All my
Go ahead and check BuzzFeed. Oh my god. Go ahead and check Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear out. He's really cool. He does a lot on Ark. He's covered Ark quite a bit, which is how I found him, and he's covering Starfield now, getting ready for that. But he has a lot of like really good details, and like he gets into the weeds of things and gives pretty good information. I'm excited about Starfield. I hope it's not botched to all hell, but only time will tell. Could be a good game, though. Like and subscribe. Do this stuff. You want all that? All of that. Hey there, it's Skeg Broggy. Thanks for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and follow me here on Twitch for more awesome content. Link is in the description.